Hey there YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to take a look at the Logitech G502 Proteus core. I've reviewed a whole bunch of mice before on this channel, so if you're not interested in this one, I'm sure I've got one on the channel that may interest you. I think this is probably like my 15th mouse that I've reviewed. They're pretty popular, and I may or may not have thrown my last one and broken it. So anyway, we got this one. It's Logitech's new 2016 lineup, the Proteus line. And I'm impressed with the direction that they've headed with their products. Packaging is pretty standard Logitech stuff, so we'll talk about it very briefly before opening. It is the 502 Proteus core, tunable gaming mouse. Tracking is 200 to 12,000 DPI, which is, I mean, absolutely worthless information. Max acceleration is 40 Gs cubed. Max speed is 300 IPS squared. Let's see, USB report rate is 1000 hertz, which is good. 1000 hertz, I think, is the fastest polling rate. People call it report rate or polling rate for how many times or what frequency that information goes back via USB, or one MIPS. It has a dynamic coefficient of friction information on there because that's super important for some reason. And then it has a static coefficient of friction. The button durability is 20 million clicks, which is another odd number because I'm sure there's people that either get a new mouse or probably what does your mouse suddenly fail after 20 million clicks? Oh, you've got 20,100,000 clicks and your mouse is done. Or durability in feet, you can move this mouse along a surface for 250 kilometers. How do they figure that out? They put these on treadmills or something like that until the sensor dies or something like that. And then the rest is in French. On the back, programmable buttons, obviously, with some hotkeys to do a DPI shift. I'm not sure. Leave a comment if you actually use the on-the-fly DPI changes. And DPI is a bad word. I'll leave a link in the description about the difference between DPI and CPI and why DPI is absolutely worthless information, and CPI, or calculations per inch, is probably the information that's more relevant that they should be putting on there. But the industry likes to hype up the whole DPI information. Anyway, if you use DPI switching on the go, in-game, let me know. Surface tunable gaming sensor with exclusive Delta Zero technology. We'll see if they have some more about that. And you can add up to 3.6 grams of weights for a personalized mass and balance. Let's see, 5 on-the-fly adjustable DPI settings from 2 to 12,000. Improved dual mode hyperfast scroll wheel, which I do like their scroll wheel options on here. And Logitech's really the only one that have the free-flowing versus the tactile wheel. And even this little $20 Logitech Marathon mouse does the same thing. Talks about what's in the box. You need 100 meg of hard drive space, a USB port on your computer, Windows 8, 7, 8.1, or Vista. Don't say anything about 10, but I'm going to assume it works. All right, so on the inside, here we go. Exclusive Delta Zero sensor technology. Now with custom surface calibration. The exclusive high-accuracy Logitech G gaming sensor in the G502 Proteus core can be tuned to even higher levels of performance, matched to your preferred gaming surface through software imaging calibration. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of nice. Mice nowadays that have, dark field or other proprietary technology, so you can use them on, glass or certain very, slick surfaces like a wood desk or something like that. You couldn't do that easily nowadays. And even, using a mouse with a very basic sensor like this is not always preferred on a different surface. So it is nice to be able to customize that per surface. So let me open this. I think I got a knife around here. While I'm opening this, price currently at the date of this video, which is the 15th of December 2016, price is $55. Sometimes it's plus or minus 10 bucks. I haven't seen it any less than that though. So that's a big mess getting stuck on the box. So you've got the mouse, you've got the little sensor in there if you try to steal it. The cord is a braided cable, and most gaming peripheral companies nowadays do have that. This is more of a very soft touch cloth, true braided fabric cable rather than some of the like plastic or neoprene, other brands that try to mimic that. But this is actually like a real cloth thing. That's actually pretty cool. It's a little like Logitech hexagon here, and it's plastic. And this, I assume, houses the weights for the mouse. Sure enough, so you've got the Logitech logo in there, and then they're all 3.6 grams. So I guess depending on how many of these you add to different sections of your mouse, that will, affect the weight, obviously, and some people like a heavier mouse. I might add, a little bit of weight to this, but we'll see how that goes. So here's the mouse. Bottom, you've got this, goofy little textured, falling off texture on the bottom, which is kind of unique. I'm surprised they did that, but it seems to, glide very well because the pads are really what make contact with your surface, and this little padded ring in here. So this stuff is just all decoration on there. Cord seems pretty strong. Doesn't seem so centered on the mouse, but that's okay. There's a little kink in it from the manufacturer, from the box, but that should be all right. I'll talk to you about the free flowing mouse there. You can kind of just let it go on the ball bearing there if you really need to scroll a lot. Or you can click that little center button, and then it has a little tactile bump to it. You've got this small, I'll say it's pretty average thumb platform there. I do like the little hint of color. That's nice. Then if you can see in there, there's also that same textured, falling off textured look. Something I didn't like about the previous mouse that I had, the Corsair M65, was the material that the mouse was made up is kind of this rubberized texture, and the oils in your hand. And I wash my hands a ton for my job and for things like this, so I don't have greasy Mountain Dew and Doritos fingers, and I've never had a problem. But Corsair, all my mice were just, all the nice texturing on there on the hand was just peeled away. You could completely tell where I put my hand. And that Corsair mouse was the first and last Corsair mouse I had. About that, I'm doing a review here in a minute about how I've used that mouse for about 6 months, and I will no longer be using that mouse. There is a button here for the thumb, which is kind of nice. The Corsair mice, I have it almost right over your thumb, and my fingers are pretty small, so I do like that you have the ability to reach so that you're not accidentally pressing that button. What else was I going to say? You've got your two buttons here, which I like when browsing the internet because it's kind of like a back and forward tab. You've got this piece of plastic in here, which is just like another accent piece that doesn't do anything. I think that actually probably lights up. It gives you like a battery indicator or indication as to like what profile you're on. These are the buttons up here that can adjust DPI on the fly, and that's pretty standard stuff for any mouse manufacturer. They normally put the buttons there because it's kind of out of the way and you're not going to accidentally bump that, but it's just in line where you could adjust DPI on the fly if you're doing something else like that. And then, as I had mentioned, the front button is what changes the scroll wheel, and then the back button here will change the profile. On the other side, you've got that nice textured feeling to it. It feels really, really solid in the hand. Even if you're like a palm guy or some sort of like claw grip, I kind of have something in between depending on what I'm doing. If I'm browsing the web, my hand might be a little bit lazy, but if I'm gaming, I might be up in like a claw grip a little bit more. But I think this mouse is not going to restrict you either way. The design, I think Logitech hands down always has the nicest and sharpest designs. I definitely prefer Logitech and their mice over Razer's garbage, or even Corsair. SteelSeries does make a very good mouse, but doesn't have this look to it. It doesn't look like a fighter jet. It doesn't have nice, excellent braided cables. It's a very middle of the road, okay mouse. I'm actually using one right now prior to this just to hold me over before I get this on the main battle station. So cord, they didn't talk about cord length. I'm going to say it's probably 6 feet. You've got a nice little cable tie if you're into LAN parties or something like that and you're moving your mouse around. You've got a quick start guide is what it looks like here. Talks to you about taking the bottom off, putting the weights in, and then going to Logitech/support/G502 for the appropriate software if you don't already have the Logitech gaming software on your PC. And then this talks about warranty information and all that good garbage. So I guess we'll try to pop the back off of this and see if we can put some weights in here. Oh, wow, okay. So that's just this will focus. You've got 2 clips on the left side there that kind of slide in, and then there's a magnet right there where my finger is that kind of holds it in place. So that's like super easy to take off. It's nice that they kind of tied the blue into there to indicate that. And then you can see here there's some ridges down here that are pretty centered on the mouse, so you can add quite a bit of, really a ton of weight. I'm going to do that right now just to give it a go. Take one of these out of here, and I guess I'll put this top. You do kind of have to like press them in. This light blue colored is sort of a rubber. It's not plastic or anything like that. It's very rubberized, so it'll just hold that in there just nicely. The black section here by the sensor, however, is like a traditional plastic. So, sure, we'll put one right here. So that's that. Pop that back on. It's very nice that's. Yeah, I kind of like this. I've had mice with weight sets like this before. It's super nice that they give you this nice little package. Little things like that are something that's really extra appreciated. They could have easily thrown it into the box or whatever, and you're forced to keep the box or put it in a plastic bag or something like that. But just that they take the extra step to brand something and create a case like that, I really appreciate that. So yeah, that mouse that actually feels pretty good. Before it was a little bit lightweight. You kind of felt like it wasn't so much like gaming style weight. Even this has a little bit more weight just because this is wireless and has some batteries in it. But yeah, I think I like the. I wouldn't go too much more. So those are 2 3.6 gram weights that are in there. You could have a maximum of whatever 3.6 times 5 is, because they do all weigh the same thing. It would be kind of nice if they had some different weights in there. It's kind of set in a way that you can position the weight so it's still at least centered. But if you wanted something less than, if you just wanted to add like another gram or something like that, it'd be nice for them to include some different weights for that. So I think that's all that I have for this. I haven't had many problems with Logitech gaming mice. I've only had problems with playing with idiots on Overwatch, something like that, and then throwing my mouse across the room. That's why I went to wired mice recently, because you can't do that very well. So I'll try this out. I'm very confident that Logitech will exceed my expectations as always. I haven't used any of the mice for an extended period of time from the Proteus, the new Logitech G series that they have here, so I'm pretty excited to use this. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. Questions or comments, all that good stuff, let me know in the comment section below. I'll be around to answer it to the best of my ability. I'm going to end the video here because I want to get this going. I'm going to use this on my main rig for hopefully for a long time. So I'll follow up here in a couple of months or maybe 6 months or something like that, just to give a report about durability and the other things like that. That's what I'm going to film after this, so stay tuned for that for my follow-up review on the M65 RGB from Corsair and how I will not be using that mouse anymore. Thanks for hanging around, guys. We'll see you in the next one.